I have not slept at all, and yet you're getting a leaks review on the day of the leaks. For those of you who always watch my videos, you will know how rare that is for me to do. But that is just how insanely good this chapter is. In the span of this one chapter, a major character tragically dies, Yuta Okotsu gets name dropped, and finally one of our goats actually returns. I might genuinely combust if I don't talk about this masterpiece right now. So everybody kindly drop whatever you're holding, get off TikTok, sit yourself down somewhere, and lock the in. You know it's going to be a banger when the chapter starts with a flashback. Well, that is until you realize that said flashback's only purpose is to make you feel bad for Choso. It's basically a callback to when Yuji said that Kamo's teaching wasn't as shit as Choso's. Choso wanted Yuji to learn supernova and convergence, but Kamo said, nah, he ain't built like that, just focus on healing. Choso has a little sob about being a bad teacher, but honestly I think he was fine, since Yuji did successfully pull off a supernova, and he only survived chapter 251 because of Choso's guidance. Don't worry Choso, that Kamo guy is just a straight fraud. It's not your fault that you were born a natural. We then find out who the second person Yuji Itadori swaps with is, and it was none other than our GOAT Yuta Okotsu. I believe there are two potential reasons for this swap. One, so Yuji can learn to heal other people, and by extension heal other people's souls because of his soul awareness. I theorize that he would swap with Shoko for this exact reason, but Yuta makes sense too. And two, it's very possible that Yuta never actually had a finger to eat in the first place, and instead copied Shrine via swapping with Yuji. The problem with this though is that it means the final finger is still out there somewhere. And yes, it would still be out there somewhere, okay? I spent ages trying to work out this finger shit with Kaio Breeze on a stream once, and just realized that Sukuna only ever reached 18. I'm not gonna get into it, just like, trust me or don't, I don't really care. The other problem though is that Yuji hadn't actually unlocked Shrine at that point, so how would they even know to do that? Although I guess it is possible that Gojo could have just told them to, knowing that Yuta would be able to copy it. Okay, now this is kind of an unrelated glazing point, but it's actually crazy how some of you downplay Yuta. Bro literally has Shrine, a load of other special grade techniques, and the second most cursed energy in the entire series, and somehow you guys do not think he's top 3 in the verse. Anyway though, those are the main reasons why I think that they would have swapped, but feel free to share your ideas too. Now please remember that in this video I am going off the roughest of the rough translations, so please have some patience if anything gets changed. I will also not be showing any panels because I really don't want YouTube to call an airstrike on my house. But if you do want to see the panels, then there are lots of Discord servers showing them, including mine, which you can join by going okay, f me, fine. So apparently Sukuna's Divine Flame, aka Kamino Fuga, actually requires Sukuna to cook before using it. Think of it a bit like preheating an oven, or a stove if you're from the US. But yeah, to use the flame, Sukuna's gotta first use Dismantle and Cleave while it charges up. At least that's what the translation suggests. Sukuna also then solidifies himself as the King of Binding Vows, because apparently Sukuna's flames are kinda slow and have a very narrow range, which he then fixes by using a Binding Vow. And again, I have no problem with Sukuna using a Binding Vow. I just want to know what the hell the vow is so it seems less arsepully. Like, how hard is it just to say, in exchange for greater range, Sukuna sacrifices his favorite toe or some shit like that? I've also seen a translation where it stated Sukuna could not use his flames against Gojo because of him having to seriously drop his effective range or some shit like that. But to be honest, some of you are not ready for that conversation just yet, so we're gonna wait for the proper translations. And finally, after literal months of waiting, we get one singular page of Uraume versus Hikari. And they both still look completely fine. To be honest, they look like they've just been standing around and yapping for the last 20 chapters instead of actually fighting. Uraume senses Sukuna's flames and then does the most infuriating shit I have ever witnessed in my life. Uraume legit pulls the nah-eyed win pose and says victory is ours or some shit like that. Bro, you need to stop saying we and us. Your useless ass has done nothing but get folded. Right, listen, I'm just gonna put this panel on the screen and move on before I actually break something. Back in Malevolent Shrine though, shit is getting heated. Like, really heated. In his domain, Sukuna's flames actually do some weird sciencey pressure shit, but it's basically just a way of saying the entire domain heats up like a furnace. And that obviously means that it will cook everything living inside of it. It's actually referred to as Sukuna's ultimate technique, the one so strong that it melted Big Raga in Shibuya. Before Yuji gets turned to ash though, Big Brother Choso steps in and protects him with some kind of barrier which looks like it could be made from blood, which is just really cool. Now what happens next genuinely made people tear up reading this, so I cannot imagine what it's gonna do to me when it's animated. Choso apologizes to Yuji for not being a better teacher and then gets brutally turned to ash protecting his little brother. What happens next is really interesting though, because Yuji and Choso's souls communicate in the afterlife in the same way that Sukuna does with his victims. Maybe this is something specific to Yuji and Sukuna, or maybe it's something anyone with soul awareness can do. Either way, I do believe it's going to be important later down the line. At the very least, it does confirm that the soul survives for a little while even after the body completely dies. Yet this is purely for the sake of Gojo Copium, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but agenda, you know? Choso praises Yuji for being so talented and is so proud that Yuji managed to surpass him. We see a panel of the Curse Room Death paintings in their original forms, and the three of them have a lot to catch up on. And honestly, as much as I love Choso, this ending is so beautiful, it actually makes me okay with it. Oh, and Choso has gone to find Yuki, so I do not feel bad for him one bit. With Choso's passing, and the thought that he is the lone survivor of Sukuna's domain, Yuji Itadori's unshakable resolve starts crumbling for the first time since Shibuya. Witnessing Nanami and Nobara's deaths at the hands of Mahito completely stripped his will to push on, and now after so long, it is happening again. Yuji Itadori has now been left alone with the King of Curses.
祇園少女の鐘の声諸行無常の響きあり
Sorry, did I say alone? Nah, bruv, because Aoi Todo is back. Think back to Shibuya. Yuji was alone and broken, stripped of his resolve and getting battered by Mahito. But the inspirational words of his OG brother gave him the power to fight back and defeat Mahito. Todo has been totally absent for over 100 chapters, but if ever there was going to be a reason to bring him back, it would be for this. When Yuji Itadori needs motivating, there is only one man for the job. He just hasn't needed it until this moment right here, and I am so here for it. There is not been a single opponent Sukuna has faced that I didn't feel at least a little bit worried for. Hell, I was even nervous for Gojo, and rightly so. But if there is anything I have learned from Jujutsu Kaisen, it is to always bet on Aoi Todo. The iconic duo of Yuji Itadori and Aoi Todo are staring down the literal King of Curses, and I feel nothing but pride and reassurance without a trace of worry. Sukuna should consider Todo a massive threat right now, not because of his strength or his curse technique, but because of what that man's presence does for Yuji Itadori. Sukuna has seen them fight together, he's seen Boogie Woogie, and he's seen the effect Todo's presence can have on our main character. But Sukuna is blinded by his experience and his mindset. He simply does not understand the value of a brother. Think about that one for a second. Todo genuinely poses the biggest threat to Sukuna out of any character yet other than Yuji himself. Sure, Boogie Woogie is cool, but Todo's true value comes in the form of pushing Yuji to fight at his absolute best. If Shibuya Yuji with the Todo buff defeated true form Mahito with nothing but punches, just imagine how strong Yuji will become in this fight now that he's got an even stronger and awakened shrine. This could be the boost that Yuji needs to actually reach Sukuna's level, and I think it's going to make Sukuna the angriest we have ever seen him. Sukuna's mentality can't comprehend the value of anything other than being a completely selfish creature. He was sent on this path of isolation after he consumed his twin brother in the womb, so Sukuna truly cannot grasp the power and value of a brother, something Yuji has always had on his side. Say what you will about Gege, but this chapter is genuinely perfection in terms of exploring this theme of brothers. But anyway, put all that soppy thematic story shit aside for a second, because I am also unbelievably excited to see Todo and Yuji fuck shit up again for the first time since fucking Shibuya. Oh, and also consider this a massive fuck you, cry more to all the people telling copers like me that I'm delusional and should let go. The goat did return, so shush. Sorry, I'm a little bit worked up about this. I'm just really happy, that's all. Once Todo arrives on the scene with his bandaged up hand, we get a flashback to Todo and Mei planning how to save people stuck in Malevolent Shrine. By expanding his returning technique's range, Todo planned to swap Sorcerer's Court in Malevolent Shrine with crows that Mei positioned outside of the domain. He doesn't know if it will work. In fact, I don't even think he checked if it did, since he only says everyone is probably safe to Yuji. I do have faith though, I know Todo can pull it off. As for how Todo's Boogie Woogie returns, we have no clue, but Todo says he can feel Boogie Woogie's heartbeat. My suspicion is that Yuta and Yuji swapping was deliberately revealed in this chapter, because like we discussed, Yuji could learn to heal the souls of others if he combined Yuta's healing ability with his own soul awareness. If that is the case, then you guys know what that means, right? I'm not even gonna elaborate on that. Point is, your stock should be piled high on Nobara right now. Now, by the time Todo arrives, Malevolent Shrine has already collapsed, meaning the only thing that was really achieved by this was killing Choso. Having just opened a domain, Sukuna is also suffering from curse technique burnout, and considering the damage to his brain caused by Gojo, I severely doubt he can heal his curse technique without injuring himself further. It basically looks like next chapter is gonna be a bare-knuckle brawl between the iconic duo and the King of Curses. Anyway, that pretty much sums up the chapter. This shit was just straight flames, 10 out of 10. Choso's death, Todo's return, and this whole brothers theme Gege is playing with easily makes this one of my favorite chapters of all time. Okay, don't forget to like and sub. Feel free to join the Discord and follow my Twitter, links below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm getting really sick and tired of doing the same f***ing outro every time. Goodbye.